Welcome to Mr. Hutchings History, where the past comes alive. Let's dive into today's story.
All right, so get ready because today we're diving deep into a story that's all about, well, strategy and courage and this incredible fight for justice.
Yeah.
I think we all know about the Montgomery Bus Boycott, at least
Of course, yeah.
on the surface level, but maybe not the full story, right?
That's right.
Especially the man who really set everything in motion.
Most people, they can tell you about Rosa Parks, but the man who was really pulling the strings behind the scenes, he often gets left out.
He does, and that is exactly why we are here today.
Absolutely.
So get ready to meet E.D. Nixon.
Yes.
The mastermind that you might not know as well as say, Rosa Parks.
Right.
But you should.
Absolutely, you should. He's been called the architect of the Montgomery Bus Boycott for good reason. For very good reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, picture this. It's the 1950s.
Okay.
You are in Montgomery, Alabama.
Right.
And segregation, it isn't just some societal rule.
Yeah.
It is the law.
The law.
Now imagine you're E.D. Nixon.
Yeah.
And he is not a preacher, but he's a labor leader.
That's a good distinction.
And he's heading the local NAACP chapter, but he's also really deeply involved in the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters.
Powerful union.
Powerful union.
Yeah.
For Black railroad workers.
A very important distinction, and it's crucial to understanding how he approached activism.
Absolutely.
You know, this wasn't just about, speeches and marches. This was about organized, strategic action. Yeah.
Like very, very methodical.
Absolutely.
And you see that in everything he does.
See it everywhere, yeah.
So take 1945, for example.
Okay.
You've got poll taxes.
Right.
Literacy tests.
All these roadblocks for Black citizens to vote.
Designed to make it feel impossible.
Make it feel impossible.
And not only make it feel impossible, but be impossible.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Great.
E.D. Nixon, this is the thing about E.D. Nixon.
E.D. Nixon still manages to become one of the first Black men in Montgomery to register.
To vote.
The courage that took.
In a time
and place where...
In a place where that could put your life in danger.
Absolutely.
Just for trying to vote.
And it wasn't just about him.
Yeah.
He understood that for the movement to really be successful, they needed...
Power.
They needed power.
Yeah.
And the way to do that was to get more Black people registered, ready to vote. Mobilized, exactly.
Yeah.
He was playing the long game.
He was.
And he was playing it expertly.
You start to, I'm starting to get a sense of the kind of man he was just from these little details.
Absolutely.
Strategic, fearless,
of course.
And just utterly determined to dismantle this system.
Oh, absolutely.
That kept Black citizens oppressed.
He was a visionary in that sense.
Yeah. So you have this incredible leader in E.D. Nixon.
Yeah, a real trailblazer.
Really, really something.
So let's talk about the boycott itself.
Okay.
Because, most people
know the story of Rosa Parks, right?
Right.
Refusing to give up her seat.
On the bus.
On the bus, exactly. But
here's the thing.
What's fascinating.
It wasn't some spontaneous thing.
It wasn't just like, oh, this just happened and then a movement was born.
This was planned, this was strategized.
It was like a
E.D. Nixon was already working with a group called the Women's Political Council.
Okay.
They were advocating for Black rights.
Oh,
and they knew that the bus system
at the point of contention
was a major point. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So they were already planning this. They were getting ready.
So they were already wow.
Oh yeah, they were strategizing. They were just waiting for the right moment.
Okay, so they're like
the right case.
They're waiting for the right
to really galvanize the community.
Moment, the right case.
Yes. And that's where Rosa Parks comes in, right?
Well, not so fast.
Okay.
Our sources actually highlight another woman named Claudette Colvin.
Okay, I have to admit, I've never heard of Claudette Colvin.
Interesting, right?
So why wasn't her case?
Was arrested.
The one.
Months before Rosa Parks.
Months before.
And for the same reason, refusing to give up her seat on the bus.
Wow. Okay, so why?
Why wasn't her case the one?
Yeah.
Well, this is E.D. Nixon.
Okay.
This is where his thinking
Yeah.
is so brilliant.
Strategic mind.
He knew they needed someone who could withstand
scrutiny,
intense public scrutiny.
Yeah.
Someone whose character was, you know,
Beyond reproach.
Beyond reproach, exactly.
Yeah.
Someone that they could really hold up as the face of the movement.
Yeah.
And Claudette Colvin,
for whatever reason,
it was decided that she wasn't that person.
Okay.
She was a young woman still in school, and Nixon felt that they needed someone who could garner wider support.
So they waited, and then Rosa Parks, this,
respected.
This seamstress.
Seamstress, exactly.
Very well respected in the community.
Active in the NAACP.
Yeah.
Secretary of the NAACP.
She refuses to give up her seat, and the rest is history.
And the rest is history, yeah.
But it wasn't just luck, right?
No, this was a calculated move.
This was a
much larger game.
E.D. Nixon playing chess.
That E.D. Nixon was playing, exactly.
Wow. So, okay, so the boycott begins.
The boycott begins.
It lasts for over a year, 381 days to be exact.
Wow.
And I just, that's incredible to me.
It's a long time.
That a community can stay.
Yeah, to stay united, committed
To a cause.
Absolutely, to a cause.
For that long.
Yeah.
So what was E.D. Nixon's role?
So this is where his experience
the boycott was underway.
As a labor organizer becomes really crucial.
Okay.
Because remember, a boycott of this magnitude
it takes a lot.
Requires incredible organization.
Yeah,
you need resources, you need to keep morale high, you need to keep that pressure on the city officials.
It's not just the symbolism anymore.
No, this is logistics.
It's logistics now.
This is major operation.
Yeah.
And Nixon was in the thick of it. He was coordinating these carpools.
Oh, wow.
Raising funds to support all the people who relied on the bus system.
Yeah.
Keeping the community informed.
Keeping your
He was the general behind the scenes.
Making sure it all ran smoothly.
Yeah.
Wow. And our research also indicates that he was not afraid to speak his mind either.
E.D. Nixon. No.
Oh, no.
He was a force of nature.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. There's a story about him threatening to publicly call out any minister.
Oh, my goodness.
Who didn't actively support the boycott from the pulpit.
Wow.
And these weren't empty threats.
He was
serious. He was not afraid of ruffling feathers.
To get things done.
That's right.
It's one thing to say it.
Oh, yeah.
But it's another thing to
actually do it.
To actually put yourself out there like that.
To put yourself on the line.
Yeah, and risk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe possibly your neck.
At the time, this was dangerous stuff.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just about holding strong on the ground, right?
Right.
There's this whole legal battle happening at the same time.
Oh, right. The Browder v. Gayle case.
Exactly. And this is...
That's a big one.
That's a big one. And this is a direct result of E.D. Nixon's vision.
Really? So he was kind of like...
He was the one who was pushing for this.
The brains behind...
He understood what
a
legal victory could achieve.
So this wasn't just about, It
wasn't just about bringing attention.
It was about...
This was about creating lasting change.
Systemic change.
Through the courts. Systemic change through the courts, yeah.
And you got to mention the lawyers, too, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Fred Gray, Charles Langford. I mean, they argued this case brilliantly.
Oh, they were fantastic.
On behalf... And here's something interesting.
Okay.
Remember Claudette Colvin.
The young woman who refused to give up her seat.
Yes.
Months before Rosa Parks. Right.
Her case, even though it wasn't as well known, provided crucial legal standing.
Wow.
In Browder v. Gayle.
So it all goes back. It's all connected.
It all circles back. It's all connected.
That's amazing.
To the groundwork laid by people like E.D. Nixon.
It's like, I don't know, it gives me chills just thinking about how all these seemingly separate events were actually all part of this.
Part of this intricate fight for justice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then November 1956.
Okay.
Supreme Court rules in their favor.
Wow.
Declaring bus segregation unconstitutional. Yep. By December, the boycott, after 381 days of unwavering commitment, officially ends in victory.
A hard-won victory, I'm sure.
A hard-won victory.
So then why is it that,
That's the question.
We don't hear more about E.D. Nixon.
Right. You would think you'd be a household name.
You'd think so.
Well, you see, Nixon, he was a man of strong convictions.
Okay.
And he didn't shy away from confrontation.
Oh, really?
Even within the movement itself.
Oh, wow.
He felt that
interesting
that some some black middle-class leaders were trying to push him aside.
Really? Trying to silence the
Trying to silence him, sideline him, yeah.
Wow.
And so it caused friction.
Wow. So he was kind of like a little bit of a rabble rouser.
He was not afraid to speak his truth.
Oh, okay.
And so he ends up resigning from the MIA in 1957.
Oh, wow.
Citing these very frustrations. But you can't deny his impact.
His impact is undeniable.
Absolutely.
Do our sources give us any insight into
There's a quote
how we felt about all this, about being sidelined?
where he's reflecting on Montgomery,
Okay.
his hometown.
Yeah.
And he says, and I quote, "I'm from Montgomery, Alabama, a city that's known as the cradle of the Confederacy, that had stood still for more than 93 years until Rosa Parks was arrested. 50,000 people rose up and caught hold to the cradle of the Confederacy and began to rock it till the Jim Crow rockers began to reel and the segregated slats began to fall out."
Wow, what an image.
Powerful. Right?
Like you can just feel the years.
The frustration.
Of just pent up frustration.
That determination to shake the very foundation.
Yeah, and the determination to
shake it.
To shake it, to break it.
Break it.
To change things.
To change things, to right the wrongs.
It's incredible, and it just goes to show you that, sometimes history...
It's not always what we think it is.
It's not always complete.
It's not always complete.
And, it makes you wonder...
Makes you wonder how many other
E.D. Nixons are out there.
Unsung heroes.
Whose stories are just waiting to be told.
Whose stories are out there waiting to be unearthed.
And it makes you wonder, how different would the civil rights movement have been?
How different the world might look.
Without E.D. Nixon.
Without people like E.D. Nixon.
Working behind the scenes.
Working in the shadows to make things happen.
It's an incredible story.
It really is.
And it's a story that I think everyone should know.
Absolutely.
So the next time you encounter a familiar historical event, dig a little deeper.
Ask questions.
Ask questions. Look beyond the surface.
Look beyond the surface.
Because you might be surprised at what you find.
Absolutely.
So until next time, keep asking questions and keep diving deep.
Deep dive.
Thanks for listening to Mr. Hutchings History. Keep exploring, and we'll see you next time.